I'll read this one first before I'm on.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Teachings tonight. Oh, that's bright. Woo! Look at that bright light. I like that one better. Ring, 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 ring. God is calling. God is calling. Walk in my love. When supply seems to have failed you, must know it has not done so. But you must, at the same time, look around to see what you can give away. Give away something. There is always a stagnation, a blockage, when supply seems short. Your giving clears that away and lets the spirit of my supply flow clear. A consciousness of my presence as love makes all life different. The consciousness of me means the opening of your whole nature to me. And that brings relief. Relief brings peace. Peace brings joy. The peace that passeth all understanding, and the joy no man taketh from you. Beyond all words is my love and care for you. Be sure of it. Rejoice in it. Walk in my love. These words mean much. There is a joy, a spring, a gladness in the walk of those who walk in my love. That walk becomes a glad conquering and triumphant march. So walk. One moment. We're going to take a moment in silence to try to reflect on that. Then I'm going to come back and read it one more time. This entire time my mic wasn't even on, so now I have to read all that again.
Sorry, I didn't see it. The light was too bright.
When we do that, now I can see it.
I was too busy staring at you.
Well, thank you. Good to go. Now I gotta read all that again. One more time.
Run it back.
Walk in my love. When supply seems to have failed, you must know it has not done so. But you must, at the same time, look around to see what you can give away. Give away something. There is always a stagnation, a blockage when supply seems short. Your giving clears that away and lets the spirit of my supply flow clear. A consciousness of my presence as love makes all life different. The consciousness of me means the opening of your whole nature to me, and that brings relief. Relief brings peace, peace brings joy. The peace that passeth all understanding, and the joy no man can taketh from you. Beyond all words is my love and care for you. Be sure of it. Rejoice in it. Walk in my love. These words mean much. There is a joy, a spring, a gladness in the walk of those who walk in my love. That walk becomes a glad conquering and triumphant march. So walk. God is calling us to walk in love, to speak and act out of love in every encounter, in every scenario, in everything we do. If we speak and act out of love, things might just get a little bit better. After God calls, Jesus usually likes to call, so we're going to read that next. Let's see how it connects. Accept each day exactly as it comes to you. And by that I mean not only the circumstances of your day, but also the condition of your body. Your assignment is to trust me absolutely, resting in my sovereignty and faithfulness. On some days, your circumstances and your physical condition feel out of balance. The demands on you seem far greater than your strength. Days like that present a choice between two alternatives, giving up or relying on me. Even if you wrongly choose the first alternative, I will not reject you. You can turn to me at any point, and I will help you crawl out of the mire of discouragement. I will infuse my strength into you moment by moment, giving you all that you need for this day. Trust me by relying on my empowering presence. You can find verses to support those in Psalms 42:5, 2 Corinthians 13:4, and Jeremiah 31:25. I was watching a self-help video today on YouTube, and the lady's like, I'm not going to edit this because I found that you guys like it when I don't edit these things. Of course, people like it when you don't edit things because then they realize that you're just like them, and they can probably do that too. It gives them encouragement and hope that maybe they might have a talent in something. Maybe they can offer their words of encouragement and their thoughts and communicate with other people like you. Like us. Be real. Be yourself. Don't hide who you are. We all have ups and downs. We all have emotional baggage. We all have stuffs. Makes us who we are. We can, as Rafiki would say, we can either learn from it or run from it. Your choice. Well, from that Jesus calling I wanted to also say, totally, yes. I was told, I heard, you need to take some time off. A lot of things are going to come up. You're going to need the extra rest. You're going to need the mental strength to overcome these next few hurdles. You haven't taken the time that you needed to process, and you need to. And I heard this all like a voice in my head telling me every single day, like I needed to do this, and I didn't want to. I wanted to just keep plowing ahead, and universe, God, whatever you want to call it, said, not gonna happen. Settle down. Rest. Like I told you to. I got sick. Had no choice but to rest. Circumstances and people in charge said, you gotta get me such things and do such ways, and I did, and now I gotta be quarantined. But it's okay. Because that's what society tells me to do right now. As well as my God. September 8th, the Stoics say, do not be deceived by fortune. No one is crushed by fortune unless they are first deceived by her. Those who aren't pompous in good times don't have their bubbles burst with change. Against every circumstance, the stable person keeps their rational soul invincible, for it's precisely in the good times they prove their strength against adversity. Seneca, on Consolation to Helvia. In 41 AD, Seneca was exiled from Rome to Corsica. For what exactly, we are not sure, but the rumors were that he had an affair with a sister of the emperor. Shortly afterward, he sent a letter to his mother seeking to reassure her and comfort her in her grief. But in many ways, he must have been speaking to himself as well, scolding himself a little for this unexpected twist he was taking pretty hard. He'd managed to achieve some measure of political and social success. He might have chased some pleasures of the flesh. Now he and his family were dealing with the consequences, as we all must bear for our behavior and for the risks we take. Well, listen, Dev, and maybe find some stability and some poles and pillars to hold you up. Find your cornerstone. We're here if you need us. How would he respond? How would he deal with it? Well, at the very least, his instincts were to comfort his mother instead of simply bemoaning his own suffering. Though some other letters show that Seneca begged and lobbied for his return to Rome and power, a request eventually granted, he seems to have borne the pain and disgrace of exile fairly well. The philosophy that he'd long studied prepared him for this kind of adversity and gave him the determination and patience he needed to wait it out. When he found his fortune restored as he returned to power, philosophy prevented him from taking it for granted or becoming dependent on it. This was good because fortune had another turn in store for him. When the new emperor turned his wrath on Seneca, philosophy found him ready and prepared once again. I think I heard a quote once that said, fortune is fleeting. Is that a quote? It was time is fleeting. I don't know. Look it up real quick. Maybe I just made something up. I don't know if it's good or not, but probably not. Not a good quote. Fortune comes quickly, and fortune soon goes, and we are not prepared for fate's cruel blows. In the depths of your eyes, the fading light. That's a Fortune is Fleeting poem by DMW. We're left defeated in this sagging night. An anonymous person wrote that poem. DMW, whoever they be. Thank you, DMW. You thought of it before me. Congrats to you, sir. Or madam. But you had a Mandalorian. You could have been sir or madam. True. Time is fleeting. That is another one. Do you have it?
Better double check it. I don't know if I got the right.
Unforgettable. Mark 14, 1 through 11. We're going to see what two stories are intertwined here and how do they play off of one another. I'm going to read it from my mom's book. My mom's Bible. It says, in chapter 14, the first verse is supposed to be a conspiracy against Christ. Verse 3, a precious ointment is poured on his head by a woman. In verse 10, Judas selleth his master for money. I have half of what he received. Judas received 20 silver pieces, and this is 10. No, they're probably not real silver, but after 2 days was the feast of the Passover and of unleavened bread. And the chief priests and the scribes sought how they might take him by craft and put him to death. They're talking about Jesus here. But they said, not on the feast day, lest there be an uproar of the people. You know, will you go grab me the Holy Quran, please? After we're done with this. I'll go get it. We'll be right back after I'm done with this. Because there's another story in another book that they did the same thing, kind of in a way. But they took him in front of God instead of in front of the Senate or whatever. They said, not on the feast day, lest there be an uprising of people. And being in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, as he sat all at meat, there came a woman having an alabaster box of ointment and spikenard, very precious. And she broke the box and poured it on his head. It says, Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper. Simon the leper being either the one that he healed or the one that still had leprosy. Either way, Christ sat with a leper. And a woman with a box of ointment came, and she broke it over his head. For it had been prophesied, of course, that he would be anointed. And there were some who were indignant within themselves, and said, why was this ointment wasted? For it might have been sold for more than 300 pence, and have been given to the poor. And they murmured against her, and Jesus said, let her alone. Why trouble ye her? These people judged this woman. They said, that oil, that could have gotten us money. We could have given it to the poor. And Jesus said, no, why? Don't bother with her. She hath wrought a good work on me. For ye have the poor with you always, and whenever ye will, ye may do with them good. But me ye have not always. She hath done what she could. She hath come beforehand to anoint my body for burial. He was anointed because they wouldn't have let him been anointed after he was killed. They just let him take his body, wrap it, put it in the grave. She anointed him before he was even tortured. Verily I say unto you, whosoever this gospel shall be preached throughout the world, this also that she hath done shall be spoken of as a memorial of her. We don't know which woman this was exactly, according to this book in Mark. She will always be remembered. And Judas Iscariot, one of the 12, went into the chief priests to betray him unto them. And when they heard it, they were glad and promised to give him money, and he sought how he might conventionally betray him. So what two stories does it say here are intertwined? And how do they play off each other? The two stories would be the story of the woman that anoints Jesus and the story of Judas's betrayal. So Jesus is anointing and betrayal. Mark 14:1 indicates, the Passover too. There's 3 stories actually. Mark 14:1 indicates that the Passover was 2 days away. This meeting probably occurred on either Tuesday night or Wednesday night of that week. The religious leaders have a plan and a timing. They just need a means to accomplish their goal. It will come from a surprising quarter. This passage is the 5th sandwich story in Mark. The story of the plot against Jesus Don't suggest McDonald's on my street. No, please. I know they have the $5 meal, but McDonald's is gross, people. So gross. And you can make better meals at home. No advertising. The story of the plot against Jesus is linked with the story of a woman who anoints Jesus' head with precious perfume. 2 parallel characters do opposite actions, displaying an ironic contrast. Judas being one of his disciples, and this woman supposedly just being some random woman. Who the woman is not revealed by Mark. Her amazing gift to Jesus stands in contrast to Judas's perfighting in betraying his Lord. She is unnamed. He is named as one of the 12. Not just what I said. The value of her gift is listed. His price is only a promise of money. No specific reason is given for why she does this, but the guests at the dinner are appalled by what they consider a grand waste of close to a year's wages in pouring out the perfume on Jesus. Jesus, however, interposes in her defense and says that what she has done will be included in gospel proclamation throughout the world as a memorial to her. It is unforgettable. Indeed, all 4 gospels tell this story in one form or another, probably because of Jesus' words memorializing her deed. Judas's betrayal also is unforgettable. Mark implies that his motive was greed. The Gospel of John makes it explicit in John 12:4-6. Mark contains a play on the word good in order to illustrate that 2 different motives or plots are in play in these stories. Jesus calls the woman's actions good and beautiful in Mark 14:6. He says, "You can always do good for the poor" in Mark 14:7. And in Mark 14:9, he calls her deed part of the good news, the gospel. In Mark 14:11, Judas looks for a good opportunity to betray Jesus. What this play on words suggests is that the plot of men to destroy the Messiah will actually become part of the gospel story, because it brings to fruition the will of God in giving his Son for the salvation of humanity. How does Romans 8:28 help explain what will happen here? Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. All things work for good. For those who follow God's will. No, who follow God's purpose. And we all have a greater purpose in life. One that even ourselves do not know. Two more books to read and we will be done for the evening. I hope you all are learning some wonderful... three more books. Some wonderful things. We're going to do a moment of silence and be right back with another story of Jesus from another book that you would not expect. One more time, because nobody heard that. Let's travel from the west to the east. Across the rainbow bridge of promise and love. It's so satisfying. I love that noise. This is where Jesus fed his disciples by a miracle, but he claimed not divinity. He was a true servant of Allah, to whom doth belong the dominion of the heavens and the earth. Glory and power are his, and his alone. And I'm reading from the Holy Quran here. One day will Allah gather the messengers together and ask, What was the response you received from men to your teachings? And they will say, We have no knowledge. It is thou who knowest in full all that is hidden. Then will Allah say, O Jesus, the son of Mary, recount my favor to thee and to thy mother. Behold, I strengthen thee with the Holy Spirit, so that thou didst speak to the people in childhood and in maturity. Behold, I taught thee the book of wisdom and the law and the gospel, and behold, thou makest out of clay, as it were, the figure of a bird, by my leave, and thou breathest into it, and it becometh a bird, by my leave, and thou healest those born blind and the lepers, by my leave. And behold, thou bringest forth the dead by my leave, and behold, I did restrain the children of Israel from violence to thee. Then thou didst show them the clear signs, and the believers among them said, This is nothing but evident magic. And behold, I inspired the disciples to have faith in me and mine messenger. They said, We have faith, and do thou bear witness that we bow to Allah as Muslims. And behold, the disciples said, O Jesus, the son of Mary, can thy Lord send down to us a table set with viands from heaven? Said Jesus, Fear Allah if ye have faith. And they said, We only wish to eat thereof and satisfy our hearts, and to know that thou has indeed told us the truth, and that we ourselves may be witness to the miracle. And said Jesus, the son of Mary, O Allah, our Lord, send us from heaven a table set with viands, that there may be for us, for the first and the last of us, a solemn festival and a sign from thee, and provide for our sustenance, for thou art the best sustainer of our needs. And Allah said, I will send it down unto you, but if any of you after that resisteth faith, I will punish him with a penalty such as I have not inflicted on anyone among all the peoples. Section 16. And behold, Allah will say, O Jesus, the son of Mary, didst thou say unto men, Worship me and my mother as gods in the derogation of Allah? In derogation of Allah. And he will say, Glory to thee! Never could I say what I had no right to say. Had I said such a thing, thou wouldst indeed have known it. Thou knowest what is in my heart, though I know not what is in thine, for thou knowest in full all that is hidden. Never said I to them aught except thou didst command me to say to wit, Worship Allah my Lord and your Lord, and I was witness over them whilst I dwelt amongst them. When thou didst take me up, thou wast the watcher over them, and thou art a witness to all things. If thou dost punish them, they are thy servants. If thou dost forgive them, thou art the exalted in power, the wise. Allah will say, This is a day on which the truthful will profit from their truth. There are gardens with rivers flowing beneath, their eternal home. Allah well pleased with them, and they with Allah. That is the great salvation, the fulfillment of all desires. To Allah doth belong the dominion of the heavens and the earth, and all that is therein, and it is He who hath power over all things. God, Allah, the All, Elohim, El Shaddai, just a few of many names, for that which goes by many names and is known by none. A few pages from the Bhagavad Gita and a few pages from the Kabbalah, and we'll finish it up for the evening. This is the way. Peace be with you.